Hey guys, it's Sign here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another comic book review. Today we're looking at Godzilla versus Hulk. This is the second in the Marvel versus Godzilla crossover events that we've had. So the first one was Fantastic Four versus Godzilla. That one kind of like set the stage. You know, Godzilla exists in the Marvel universe. It's based off the end of the original Marvel run of Godzilla, and Godzilla suddenly appearing throughout the world in order to interact with these different characters, right? The thing is that this is supposed to be tied into the original universe, or like the original version of 616, but also is clearly separate because as you go through these stories, and I've already read Godzilla versus Spider-Man at this point, it seems like the existence of Godzilla changed a lot of things about different characters and has led to different technologies being developed. But at the same time, it is supposed to be within continuity in some way. And so it's kind of funny because I don't think they fit into continuity even with each other. Like, I don't necessarily think that this fits into the same continuity as the Fantastic Four versus Godzilla. And I'm pretty sure it does not fit into the continuity between this and Spider-Man versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Spider-Man. I think that they're all separate, but they all kind of, they talk about each other, right? Because if I remember correctly, Godzilla vs. Spider-Man does reference Fantastic Four. But this one is kind of standalone, and it's pretty interesting, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I liked it. The only reason that I'm keeping this is because I want to have a full run of this set of books, right? Otherwise, I would have probably found a way to get rid of it because I didn't necessarily like it. I think that there's a lot of cool images here, but I don't necessarily think that those images are worth the $5 price tag, if that makes sense. So this is written by Gary Duggan. It's art by Daniele Orlandi, Federica Blee, and Giuseppe Camuncoli, I think, is the last guy here that helps with the art and the colors, right? So yeah, Giuseppe Camuncoli is the penciler, Daniele Orlandini is the inker, and Federico Blee is the colorist. The letterer is Ariana Mayer, and the cover artists are the three people that I mentioned previously. Although this is a variant cover, this is variant cover C, I think. It doesn't actually say on here. At least I don't remember. It just says variant edition. And this is the only one that my comic book store was able to get for me. And I don't mind. I actually think it looks pretty good, but it's not really my favorite. The artwork inside is also not really my favorite, although it's not too bad. So this opens up with General Ross at Thunderbolt Ranch. And he's giving a presentation to the press about the fact that Godzilla is going to be ended. He is going to get rid of him, and that they're going to get rid of it, right? And so they finish the interview, and then another reporter shows up, and he's like, hey, can I go with you? And, Thunderbolt Ross allows him to. And it's kind of unnecessary for this to happen. Maybe it just kind of explains that they're baiting Godzilla here through capturing Mothra to try to get Godzilla to show up so they can kill him. And the reason they're using Mothra is because she's very unlikely to actually kill anyone. So that's cool. At the same time as this is happening, we see that Bruce Banner actually works for Thunderbolt Ross, and he's working with someone called Dominicus, right? Demonicus, maybe? It's this character right here. And they work on this like underground facility that's kind of similar to Nerve from Evangelion. And as this spider creature that Demonicus controls is attacking Mothra, we see that Godzilla shows up, which is really cool. I do like the concept of it, although I don't necessarily think that I like the way that Godzilla is depicted here. It's not really my style. I don't really like it. And Godzilla's taking down some airplanes, and then Thunderbolt Ross gets called in. He tells the reporter, hey, I'll see you later, and he jumps off, which is pretty cool. And he ends up in this like Triskelion opening concept thing, and when he gets down there, it turns out that he is a pilot alongside Bruce for these MechaGodzillas that get shot out of the ground, and they go and fight Godzilla. And so Godzilla hits them with an atomic breath, and he knocks one of them down. Then one of the MechaGodzillas shoots him, and then Kumonga, which is the spider, ignores Mothra and starts attacking Godzilla, right? And so it's 3 against 1, but Godzilla, of course, is much better than them, and he does a pretty good job at mauling the hell out of Bruce Banner's MechaGodzilla, right? And at this point, as the characters are losing the battle, Demonicus removes his mask, shows that his face is disgusting, and that he actually created a monster, Hedorah, which is this like nasty goo monster, in order to attack Godzilla, and also in order to get rid of Bruce Banner and Thunderbolt Ross and everyone that has caused Demonicus to look like this, right? Through the use of his powers, I guess. And as this is happening, as Bruce realizes that he is in deep trouble, that he's not going to get out of this, the Hulk comes out. And the Hulk bursts out of this downed MechaGodzilla. It punches the hell out of Hedorah. And then as he punches again, because he managed to land the first hit on its eyeballs, he gets burnt as he saves Thunderbolt Ross, right? So he moves Thunderbolt Ross out of the way. He goes to continue punching Hedorah. He burns his arm. And then this is when Godzilla is knocked down. And Bruce, with his injured arm, decides that the best thing to do is to help Godzilla heal. So he uses electricity in order to restart Godzilla's heart, apparently. And then he pours his blood into Godzilla. And somehow Godzilla's eyes start growing gamma green, and Godzilla becomes Hulkzilla. And this is pretty cool. Again, I don't necessarily like this art style, but the concept of the image is freaking phenomenal. I do not dislike this, right? And so Godzilla does an atomic gamma breath, destroys Hedorah immediately, super easily, and then Hulk saves Kumongo, and Godzilla saves Mothra, and then Godzilla and Hulk face off, and both fall to the ground, exhausted. Then, later, they both come back to normal, and as Thunderbolt Ross is about to shoot Bruce Banner in the head for betraying him, for being Hulk all along, Godzilla comes back, roars at Thunderbolt Ross, and then leaves, right? And Bruce is like, us monsters stick together, and this is where the story ends, with kind of this unclear kind of situation where is Thunderbolt Ross going to forgive him? Is Bruce safe? What's going to happen here? And, well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But this is a fine story. There's some really cool images. The idea of, Bruce Banner being a mecha pilot is pretty awesome. The idea of Thunderbolt Ross using a MechaGodzilla to fight Godzilla is pretty cool. Godzilla turning into a Hulk monster is pretty awesome. And, there's a few scenes like that are pretty cool. But I just don't think that I necessarily like this story. I didn't necessarily find myself all that interested. It's not because I'm not a fan of Hulk, because I think I am, although I haven't really ever read a proper Hulk story. I think the issue is that Thunderbolt Ross seems to be the main character, and I don't really like Thunderbolt Ross as a character. And the story feels kind of inconsistent with the previous story, and although it fits very clearly into the concept of the Hulk, right, with Thunderbolt Ross being his main enemy and using technology in order to overcome this Jekyll and Hyde monster, I just didn't find myself all that super excited about this, right? And that's a bit disappointing. So I gotta say that I would not really say that this is the best story. I don't necessarily think it's bad. I just didn't like it. It's not to my taste, right? So take that how you will. Let me know what you thought down below. Did you like it? Is this kind of par for the course for Hulk stuff or not? Let me know that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys later.